Naya mid-range. David will be on the play. It's his number 4 overall seed. Players are ready. They've got their opening hands. Let's watch some magic. Start things off with the Temple of Abandon, top card. Going to the bottom. Chad White with the extremely powerful Evolving Wilds.
The necessary evil of red-white mana bases.
An Elvish Mystic and a passing of the turn. You see Chad, of course, going to search for planes with his Evolving Wilds. We'll see what he's got for second turn.
Much bigger fan of Evolving Wilds in this deck than of Windscarred Crag. Because it's not like this deck needs more plateaus.
Yeah.
It needs a dual land that can go get a basic mountain. So I like this call.
And both of them are going to enter the battlefield tapped anyway.
Exactly. It's the same thing. So it's like, do you need a land that can make both red and white mana, or do you just need to have a fixer that can go get a basic mountain? I think this deck needs the latter.
Seeker of the Way. Head back David's way. It's an early Pelucranos. It is. That's the brick wall. Gonna need a Chain of the Rocks right now, Will Chad.
And even if he does have one, you see the next card in David's hand here, Whisperwood Elemental. He's gonna be really testing Chad's ability to remove big creatures. Not the easiest thing for this deck to do.
There's a Seeker of the Way, and just passing the turn. Pelucranos doing a nice job playing Roadblock. David will draw. Windswept Heath. We'll sacrifice that.
Curious to see what David wants to do here. I think there's compelling arguments for both Whisperwood Elemental and just fighting for 2 and attacking. I happen to be a fighting man myself.
You?
Didn't have Chain of the Rocks last turn. So unless he draws it, he's facing down a 7/7 real fast.
It looks like he's going to fight.
I like it.
And the race is on. Looks like he's just going to... Okay, I thought he might hold back. But yeah, there's...
No.
Yeah, there's the attack for 7.
I dislike fighting and not attacking.
Play one way. Four mana. There's a Chandra. It's going to tick up, take care of the Elvish Mystic. And there's an attack for 3 with lifelink, of course.
Not a shabby turn. Unfortunately, the Chandra is not long for this world. And David also has the option of just ignoring it altogether, try to close out the game in 2 turns.
We'll go back David's way. Draws a copy of Wooded Foothills. Chandra's going to die. Sacrifice that Foothills. Go down to 14. And there's a mountain, and it might be time for Whisperwood.
Yep.
I'm going to wait here. Chad wanted to shortcut a little bit, but...
Yeah, there's been some shortcutting going on here. You know, neither of these players are really doing anything on the other players' turns. Yeah. They're just sort of doing their business.
Draw step, an important one. Though Chad already has Stoke the Flames. Imagine he's hoping for a card like Chain of the Rocks here. There is a land. There's a dragon. We're going upstairs. To the skies we go. Put David down to 10.
And Chad doing this in lieu of casting Stoke the Flames, trying to turn this into a damage race sort of game.
Yep.
Connect with the Storm Breath Dragon, hopefully hit next turn. Pair that with another burn spell alongside your Stoke the Flames. Maybe you can steal this game.
It does have 2 Stokes in hand, so it's worth a shot. Here are the attackers. It's a chump block very quickly. So 6 damage will come through. White will go down to 10. No, there's a copy of Arbor Colossus, though I'm not sure if he has triple green.
There's 2 temples here.
Oh, that's the problem. Fixed it.
Yep.
Has to pay 1 now. There's Arbor Colossus, and that is a problem. The draw here is a Mana Confluence. Missed the Manifest trigger, unfortunately.
easy to get a little mixed up there when, you know, something like a table spotter says you don't have the right mana for your thing.
The draw here is a Temple of Abandon. We'll play that. Take a look at the top card. Stays on top very quickly. Everybody red zone, yes sir. Storm Breath Dragon's on chump blocking duty. Stoke the Flames is probably on kill something duty.
And once it's on kill something duty, then Chad can't really win anymore.
Yep.
Not often you see Storm Breath Dragon on chump blocking detail.
Especially in this deck. Chad's trying to figure out if there's some way he can win the game. He realizes that there isn't. He's going to concede. David Moline's going to win game number 1 here over Chad White. Nia mid-range up a game here over red-white aggro.
So funny to see. You know, we come into a game that takes about an hour to get through, and then the other 3 games we've seen so far, I mean, they've been 5-minute affairs.
We'll take a look at the sideboards here. We're going to start with red-white aggro on Chad's side. 3 Ash Cloud Phoenix, 2 Erase, 2 Wild Slash, a Chandra, 2 Arc Lightnings, 3 Hostilities, 2 Glare of Heresy.
I'm not sure how much I like really anything that's going on in the sideboard for this matchup. The little creature removal, I suppose, is fine. I think the Wild Slash can come in, but Ash Cloud Phoenix, you know you're playing against a deck with Arbor Colossus, Glare of Heresy. There's a couple white cards, but not really that many. I don't think Chad can convert into a control deck. Arc Lightning is not that efficient. I think the Chandra comes in, the Wild Slashes, maybe the Ash Cloud Phoenixes, but not a lot to really upgrade his deck here.
Other side of things for David, he's got 2 Arbor Colossus, 1 Reclamation Sage, a Shaman of the Great Hunt, 2 Destructive Revelry, 2 Nissas, a Xenagos, 3 Glare of Heresies, 3 Arc Lightnings.
I think that he can bring in some of the anti-enchantment stuff here, as he can anticipate both Outpost Siege and Chain of the Rocks, and unlocking his stuff is so powerful. So Destructive Revelry, Reclamation Sage can come in. I think the 2 copies of Arbor Colossus, especially when you're pairing them with a bunch of cards that blow up Chain of the Rocks, quite powerful for David as well.
Fair enough. Game number 2 going to be underway here in just a moment. While we have a moment, these players will shuffle up. Grand Prix Miami time.
On March 6th through 8th, StarCityGames.com presents Grand Prix Miami. This standard event featuring Fate Reforged will be held in the heart of world-famous South Beach, and that's just one part of a great lineup of special guests and events. So much fun, you'll want to send a postcard to all your friends. Let's start with the swag. The beautiful beaches of Miami are well known, and Grand Prix Miami participants will get to commemorate their experience with an exclusive playmat featuring the Sand Surfer of Fate Reforged himself, Mardu Scout. The Mardu Scout playmat, promo foil Gristlebrand, free 8-player on-demand side event voucher, 1-month StarCityGames.com premium voucher, and 10 SCG prize wall tickets where you can pick your prize and get the cool stuff you really want are all guaranteed for everyone just for playing in Grand Prix Miami. And thanks to StarCityGames.com's Show Up and Play pre-registration, you won't have to stand in a check-in line to get your rewards. Miami's known for catering to VIPs, and so are we. VIPs at Grand Prix Miami get an exclusive collectible pin featuring Mardu Scout, an SCG water bottle, a VIP badge and lanyard, 40 additional SCG prize wall tickets, plus a copy of the out-of-print 2013 Grand Prix Miami playmat illustrated by fan favorite Liz Nugent. VIPs also enjoy the perks they've come to expect, including access to the VIP area, water stations, private pairings boards, and, by popular demand, preferred tournament seating. Not a VIP but still want to get your hands on one of those sweet Mardu Scout pins? You'll have 2 shots to do so. On Friday, play in one of the 3 $20 Seal Spectaculars, where for just $20 you get a Mardu Scout pin, 6 boosters to build your deck, and a chance to win tons of additional prizes. On Sunday, the Super Sunday Series offers every participant a Mardu Scout pin, a chance to win loads of additional prizes, and for the champion, an all-expense-paid trip to Wizards of the Coast headquarters to play in the $20,000 Super Sunday Series Championship. On Friday evening, Brian Ronduin and Chris Van Meter will take the popular Versus video series live, battling with some of the most popular standard decks. Come cheer on your favorite in person or tune into SCG Live to watch the action as it unfolds. No Grand Prix is complete without artists, and Grand Prix Miami is thrilled to welcome RK Post, Jeff Miracola, John Stanko, Jason A. Engel, plus special guest and illustrator of Mardu Scout, Zoltan Boros. We're also excited to announce our Grand Prix Miami guest of honor. Joining us all the way from France, Alexi Bricklot. Alexi is the illustrator of 8 Planeswalkers, including the original Lorwyn 5, along with dozens of other incredible works, and we are thrilled to have him join us in Miami for a rare stateside appearance. Can't make it to Grand Prix Miami? Join Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan, and the rest of the SCG Live crew for live coverage of the entire event from start to finish, beginning on Saturday morning. On March 6th through 8th, StarCityGames.com presents Grand Prix Miami, a standard event you won't want to miss. Visit StarCityGames.com/GP Miami for more info, and we'll see you there.
Game number 2 going to be underway here in just a moment. Man, Grand Prix Miami 2 weeks away. That's crazy.
So close. And the standard format's been quite a bit of fun to cover, and I can only assume playing as well.
I wish I might want to play some standard, actually. I just want to play the red. I mean, there's so many decks I want to play. I want to play red white. I want to play mono red. I want to play Abzan against the Siege Rhino for once in my life.
Siege Rhino is just not my kind of language.
Yeah, obviously. I grew up in Ohio, mid-range, man. Monsters of the mid-range.
Yep.
That's how I was born and bred. That means I've played a lot of bad decks, for the record. That's all that means.
Magic's history towards mid-range strategies over the years has not been good.
Not great when I started playing,
Right.
even though I always tried. Ellis Mystic to start things off here for David. Chad will draw. He's on the play, of course. Second land is a mountain. There's a Seeker of the Whale. Take 1 to Cassidy's down to 19. Moline will draw. Does have a Courser of Crewfix in hand. There's a Plains. There's a 2/4. Top card of the deck. It's a Wooded Foothills. He'll pass the turn. White will draw. It's a mountain. Chain of the Rocks, very much online.
Maybe you better serve deploying Bermaz this turn. Chain of the Rock's a big follow-up.
And there is the Bermaz. Pass it back. Moline will draw. Wooded Foothills, Xenagos on top. Trigger the Courser, of course. David will gain a life up to 21. Land heavy hand here. Has a Master of the Unseen. And I'll pass the turn back. We'll go White's way.
A little bit slow, but not a bad card against Bermaz. You can definitely lock up the tokens and eventually get in a position where you can send multiple blockers at Bermaz.
There's land number 4. It's a mountain. Stoke the Flames in the hand. Chain of the Rocks as well. Here's 3 mana. Might be time to Stoke. Chad a little unsure of himself here. Arc Lightning, 2-1. Now it looks like it might be a Chain of the Rocks here. I'm not quite sure.
Looks like a Chain of the Rock turn. Trying to leave the burn spells left over here. This is going to be a hit for 8.
Okay.
So, big swing this turn from Chad. And for both of these players, you know, these two games, a demonstration of how much being on the play matters in this matchup.
Quite a bit.
David's game 1 start of Mana Accelerant into stuff Chad couldn't catch up even with a pretty good hand. And this game, Chad just burying him.
There's land number 4. You can see David's hand. It's very land heavy. He's going to go down to 10 from the fetch land. Get either a mountain or a forest. There is a mountain. It might just be Xenagos make a creature time.
And I think if I was David, I probably would have cracked the Wooded Foothills and not drawn the Xenagos because it feels like it's end hostilities or bust. We know that's not going to be good enough here because Chad's hand has so much burn in it. But from David's seat, I think that's where you got to go for it.
Temple. Maybe.
Xenagos is a mere roadblock here.
Yeah, at this point.
You see Chad just starting to do the math. Gets to attack with some vigilance creatures here, so stoking mid-combat's not going to be that hard.
Yep, Arc Lightning 2-1. And I think he's at the point now where he can probably just ignore Xenagos.
Yep.
Isn't really doing very much. He'll finish it off. Okay. So attacks for 5. Puts him over to 1. Well, puts him down to 4, excuse me.
This is a solid hedge because it's still lethal, and it means that if David, rips some sweeper, Xenagos isn't still in play.
Yep.
Probably doesn't matter very much. I think Stoke the Flames blocks it up from here, but still fine play.
And David will draw a card, probably his last draw of this particular game, as he picked up a copy of Arc Lightning. Yep, that's going to do it. Chad White's going to win game number 2 here over David Moline. Red-White aggro, 9 mid-range. Head to a third game here in our finals.
So there it is. Die roll matters a lot. These matchups involve cheap threats, mana acceleration. Both players have a top end they're trying to get to.
Yep.
You can see Chad right now, looking at the sideboard, he's thumbing the end hostilities. When he's on the draw, it becomes a little bit more attractive to try to position yourself as the control deck. You can see he's cutting the Chandras here. Chandra a little harder to protect on the draw, so you understand the logic. But I don't know if this is really the type of fight that Chad wants to pick. I think David's deck's a lot more powerful. Even if he catches him off guard with end hostilities, there's just a lot more staying power with planeswalkers and just very powerful individual threats.
I just kind of want to keep it an aggressive slant if I'm Chad. I can understand why to bring in hostilities. I'm just not sure how much that's going to do for you.
Yeah.
Probably boarding the Chandra, the Ash Cloud Phoenixes. I just want to stay an aggressive deck.
The problem is that David has so many threats that necessitate a sweeper on their own. Polukranos, even something like Shaman of the Great Hunt, Arbor Colossus as well, Whisperwood Elemental. So if Chad's not playing to the board, David can just put a thing into play and say, all right, as long as you're not playing back at me, I'm just going to use this one thing to kill you. And in those kind of matchups, I think it's very hard to lean on a sweeper like End Hostilities when you are, by your nature, the beatdown deck in the matchup.
Yeah. I think it's probably just best to just, keep your deck aggressive. And he's got 6 ways to take care of big creatures. 4 Chain of the Rocks and 2 copies of Valorous Stance. And, hopefully he draws 2 of those.
Well, the problem is, and I think part of the reason that Chad might be going to End Hostilities is because with Destructive Revelry and Reclamation Sage, the Chain of the Rocks are a lot less reliable in games 2 and 3. So he might just say, I'm not confident in my ability to handle big stuff. I need End Hostilities to make sure because the disenchants is real powerful against Chain of the Rocks.
We'll see how things do get sideboarded here. And then game number 3 going to be underway. It looks like David's happy with this configuration. He's already shuffling. So, again, he's going to be on the play here with his 9 mid-range deck. Number 4 overall seed. Been a great run for him. Only player in day 2 with this archetype. Wouldn't be surprised if he's the only player in the tournament playing this archetype.
I mean, with 500 plus people in the room, there's probably another Naya pilot or 2 out there, but definitely an impressive performance.
And for Chad, well, just the opposite. Heavily played deck. Most copies in day 2. Of course, different builds are at aggro, but they all fall underneath the same umbrella. And he's in the finals. This is, of our 3 standard opens since Fate Reforged, second time Red White's been in the finals. Had it happen in DC with Danny Goldstein, and now here with Chad White.
Always, if not the most present deck, then the second most present deck on our day 2s. A lot of different builds, but the core of it, aggressive creature base, backed up by Stoke the Flames, Chain of the Rocks. It's been putting up a lot of results.
It's really just a Chain of the Rocks deck.
Yeah.
And then it has obviously a lot of other good cards in it.
Because the real way to leverage Chain of the Rocks is find something to do with the extra mana. Compared to something like Banishing Light, for example, there's a lot of control decks where they're not going to do something that often with the 2 mana difference, the 2 mana that's left over. To really capitalize on Chain of the Rocks, you need to be going Chain of the Rocks and make a play this turn. Those are the tempo swings you're looking for. And Red-White Aggro does an excellent job of that.
Well, Chad going to re-sideboard just a little bit here. David is good to go. Again, he'll be on the play. Last game of our tournament here in Los Angeles, of course, next weekend. We will be in Baltimore, and by we, I mean you and Matthias.
Yep.
For our first Modern Open. So that'll be pretty sweet.
It will be. Some more data to pour through this weekend.
No idea what to expect, but I know that Splinter and Twin is very popular, Abzan mid-range very popular, and Amulet Bloom very popular. But what's going to be fun is watching, there are going to be a lot of name players in Baltimore, given the area and what those players are going to play at that tournament.
And I have, at various times, you know this, you've edited some articles to this effect. I've not always been the biggest fan of Modern, either where the metagame is at or R&D's general philosophy towards it. I think the format's in a good place right now.
I like it.
There's a lot of constraints when you're talking about a non-rotating format. You know, you have to accept that the play patterns are not always going to be ideal. But for what the format is, what the parameters are, I think it's in a pretty good spot right now.
David going to take a mulligan. Chad going to decide. Looks like he's going to keep. Now, I'm really looking forward to seeing the results of that Open Series event.
Me too.
And, of course, after that, Grand Prix Miami. Then, I think, Dallas, and then a week off. And
then Richmond.
Yeah. And then
Season 1 Invitational.
we'll be in Richmond before you know it. Jim Davis currently leading things here for Season 1. Don't think anyone's going to be able to catch him. David keeps. Wooded Foothills down to 19. Feels like an Elvish Mystic.
And carry edit in his hand as well. If he's got some top end, Chad's going to really struggle to interact with it.
And there is that Mystic. White'll draw. Wild Slash off the top.
Rubbed the top of his deck and it yielded Wild Slash. Pretty much perfect.
There's Sylvan Caryatid. Pass the turn back over to White. What do we have now? Seeker of the Way? Yes, we do. Pass the turn back. Moline will draw. Xenagos, not bad.
Glare of Heresy as well. Has the option of either killing the Seeker this turn or generating a 2-2. Generating a 2-2, very risky play because if Chad has any removal spell, Xenagos is down.
Looks like Dave's going to go with a safer play. Glare of Heresy takes care of that.
I like it. There's also just not that many white permanents in the red-white aggro deck, so that's a factor too.
And that's Rabblemaster. Goblin token coming. There's an attack for 1. I'll pass the turn back.
Looking for the real deal.
I don't know about that. It's debatable.
Not the Chapin Imposter Goblin
It's
token.
debatable.
He wants that City P joint.
They all run into most creatures and die, so. There's Xenagos. Satyr token coming. Hanging back on defense. White'll draw. See what he picks up this turn. Stoke the Flames, not a bad one.
The problem right now, David just no action really in his hand. Chad with a lot of good options, a lot of good insurance. David's going to have to draw very, very well from here to keep up.
I think the only thing Chad's missing right now is just a 4th land. I think he has a copy of Outpost Siege in hand.
I think Chad's kind of in embarrassment of purchase territory right now and is making sure he doesn't do anything hasty.
He just got to get all these cards out of his hand. There goes Xenagos with the Stoke. He'll pass the turn back. David draws a mountain. Passes it back. White will draw. Not land number 4 and hostilities number 1. Had a feeling he might bring that in.
Yeah, it looked like he was making that swap on as part of a play draw sort of switch.
Here's Chain of the Rocks. Take care of the Satyr token, sensing some weakness. Goblin token, everybody's coming in, I imagine. Yep. Rabblemaster's a 5-power creature, no blocks. Maybe a block on a token. Pass the turn back. Little draw. Lands. Concede. Chad White is going to win this match here over David Moline. 2-1. Red-white aggro finally has its trophy here on the Open Series thanks to Chad White.
A great run for David Moline, just playing his own brew. Got very close there. Unfortunately, just game 3 mulliganed, flooded out, and Chad's draw was awesome. So not a lot to be done there, but also, of course, congratulations to Chad White. Well-deserving champion of the Standard Open.
$5,000, 25 Open Series points, and an invite to our Season 1 Invitational. Chad White, Star City Games Standard Open champion here in Los Angeles.